RSP, VMI, alphabet soup. There's a lot of it in the supply chain. So let's go through and talk about some of the different alphabet letters we have to deal with on a regular basis. Primarily, well, a big one is that Retailer-Supplier Partnership, RSP. It really is big. It's a cooperation between the suppliers and the retailers to use one another's knowledge. We saw a lot of that with the Kimberly-Clark example and Costco. Costco was sharing the data they were getting at the cash registers with Kimberly-Clark, and people dedicated just to the Costco account were out there making certain that goods were coming in on a regular basis. They even had a problem where some stores weren't getting the goods and everything else because people were unloading too many goods. And so they solved it by putting a piece of cardboard on the truck to separate. This goes to store 75 and this one goes to store 122. That's all it took. But they were listening, they were watching, they were looking for the little things to ensure that all the different details mattered because they wanted to maintain that supplier retailer partnership. It's a big deal, especially if people take it seriously, because everybody can profit. So you have a quick response strategy. You want to have vendor managed inventory system, which is also what you saw with Kimberly-Clark. And you want to have a continuous replenishment strategy. Normally, it's going to happen with regular deliveries. Sometimes the deliveries are weekly. Sometimes they have to be more than weekly. And sometimes you might have to make an emergency run of some type just in case something goes sideways. It depends how serious that you are in the process of keeping those shelves full so that retailer can sit down and constantly sell and turn over goods and make money for you and them in the process. So suppliers, they receive the point of service data from retailers. Boom, this is what's happening at our register right now. Boom, we've had a big surge in this product up here. We need it, we need it, we need it. We're down in our safety stock. Make sure you get an order within the next 3 days. Need it. Do you have that coming in? Suppliers use the information to synchronize their production and inventory activities. The retailers prepare the orders. Everybody's there cranking through to make certain that those shelves that were down below the safety stock, we need to make sure we have it. Oh yes, it's bigger than a normal order. We might have to do a special delivery this week, 3 days early, get things together, even if it's a smaller delivery, even if we don't make more money, we want to make certain those shelves have something on them to sell no matter what happens. So really the point of service data, they're used by the suppliers to provide forecasting. You want to have rapid replenishment and have a tool set aside to do that if something goes awry, that you have some way of doing that. So the shelf's empty, nobody expected it. What are you doing? How do you hustle those goods from your place to the retailer? You want to have that, and also so it depends what it is. Sometimes you might have to tweak that safety stock. Sometimes you want to do more than a month order. Sometimes you might have to do every 2 weeks. If it happens on a regular basis, you need to think as to how often delivery should occur. Maybe it's every 2 weeks instead of a monthly order, and maybe you have 2 different trucks. You might pay a touch more shipping. It just depends what you have to worry about in the process. You want to have some advanced form of continuous replenishment. Goods go in the back door, on the shelf, and out the front door. Yes, that's how it works. So talk about that aspect of it. Suppliers may decrease the inventory levels at the retail store or distribution center as long as the service levels are met. Keep in mind, nobody wants to have excess inventory. So watch it. You can control your safety stock levels if you keep on watching this on a regular basis. You also have another alphabet soup thing called vendor managed system, VMR. The supplier decides on the appropriate inventory levels, appropriate policies to maintain the levels. They suggest they're approved initially by the retailer, and really the VMI, they eliminate the retailer oversight of specific orders. You'll see them in stores, they look like regular employees, but they may have nothing to do with them. You'll see a normal grocery store, you'll see a Frito-Lay's truck out front, and the Frito-Lay's vendor is stocking shelves, and if you go to talk to them, they're not an employee of the store. As a matter of fact, the goods on the shelves are not even part of the store's ownership. Those goods are owned by Frito-Lay's, and the only time that they're owned by the store itself is when the person comes in. They walk in, they have a rack with 100 different items on it. They restock the shelves, okay, and by the time they're done, they have 56 items left. They put 44 items out there. They have the person sign the goods, restock 44 items. And as soon as they walk out, they put it in their thing. They push their iPad, and boom, it goes back. And all of a sudden, they just own 44 items. In the meantime, Frito-Lay's owned everything on the shelf in the store. It was only confirmed that those 44 items became the property of that grocery store at the time the person restocked the items, even though they're already gone, but the retailer already has the money. That being said, pay attention to what's going on. Here you have another one, a great VMI, Walmart and Procter & Gamble. It started in 1985. This is not new. And they both like it because it really cranked out P&G's on-time deliveries, and they had inventory turns. They changed the turns from 10 annually to 100. That's huge. They increased their sales at Walmart by tenfold. That's a lot of goods. Everybody's happy in the process. The customers are happy because they're getting the goods they want by going to their local Walmart. Walmart's happy because they don't have to worry about what's on their shelves. They have Procter & Gamble doing it for them. And Procter & Gamble, by the way, pay attention, they sell a lot of different goods. This is huge in the process as to how many goods, because their trucks are showing up. Everybody's making money in the process, getting low prices to the customers, and everybody's focusing on that. Here's some of the characteristics of an RSP. You kind of see the decision maker in the middle, who owns it in the process, and new skills employed by the vendors. Forecasting really kicks up. You'll see that in almost all in the right-hand column. Continuous replenishment, inventory ownership can go to either party, advanced continuous replenishment, and also VMI. You'll see all the different alphabet soups showing up over here and who owns what and who has the skills. This is handy, this chart here, if you're in this business of supply chain management to figure out what's going on. A big deal here is always trust. You have to have that top management commitment. You have to have the supplier, when they manage a retailer's inventory, you got to have the trust from top down. The retailer provides sales information to the supplier. That means data. The data should be treated confidentially, and reduced inventory leads to space savings for everybody involved. Who makes the replenishment decisions? That should be all worked out in the RSP. Who owns the inventory till it's sold? Nobody wants to own it. So whoever is the last one in the game of musical chairs to own it, they get to own it in the process. And the goal is that the retailer lowers the inventory cost. So usually the supplier provides that. On this consignment relationship, the supplier can manage the inventory more effectively, really, than the actual retailer can. The supplier can move as much inventory as the contract allows, and the higher cost of the supplier, because the longer inventory holding really ends up being with the supplier. It's a power relationship that really, as long as it moves more goods and both sides can turn over more product, then the better off both sides are. This is a serious alliance and needs deep research before you commit to it. Know and define the details of the agreement. Know that change will happen in the future and plan for it. You have one type as when you're launching a new product, and later on down the line, you may have a sole source for that particular product, and later on, you may end up having multiple sources available. You might have to change that relationship. So don't be locked in all the time. Always looking for opportunities to sit down there and improve that relationship, lower your costs, whichever side that you're on, so that both sides are more profitable in the process. So RSP, VMI, and the alphabet soup in the supply chain, it's there. So look and examine each one of them. Keep some of these for future reference. They might come in handy for you to make you highly successful in the supply chain industry. Take care.